I'm locking the van and getting ready because today we are about to be off. Hello adventurers and welcome back to my channel. We are going to be taking a trail today. There's a 4.6 mile trail with a 216 foot elevation gain. This one is rated easy. It's just outside of the Twin Lakes area and it is supposed to be absolutely incredible. It takes us to a really cool site at the very end and then come back. So it's an out and back trail. And I think this one's going to be interesting. So buckle up, put on your good shoes, and let's go. Starting off, it looks like we have a few small pieces of information here. No fireworks, no shooting. Watch out for your surroundings. There are some fallen trees. Additionally, this is part of the Continental Divide Trail. It's just a little tiny piece of it though, so this shouldn't be that crazy. Before we get going too far, I'm going to set a workout band so that we can start a workout. And that way it'll track our steps and we could possibly close out a ring. I also set my map on all trails so it'll track me so I can see about how far I am on the path. That's always helpful. Now so far, not too bad. We just got started. There are some rocks and roots in the trail, but other than that, not bad. It's wide enough for a couple people to walk. We came up this hill, and as we did, we were able to get to this first section where you can see the water right over here. That's part of Twin Lakes over there. Wow, the sheer power to uproot a tree like this is insane. This is like the third one I've seen. Now, something interesting about when I go hiking is I notice all the little things. So I'll notice the different kinds of leaves, the flowers, the things like that. And that's what makes being out in nature important. We have one of the markers for the Colorado Trail here. Even quite a mile in and I've seen 3 poo bags for dogs. Like, why? You know, I think some people think, oh, if I bag it, it's fine. But it's not. You should bag it, take it with you. And these are at all different points. So I don't think it's just one person. It's also 2 different kinds of bags. You can see through this area there's a lot of charring from the fires that previously happened here. And like all of these trees all the way up to the top, so there's not a lot of growth yet. Kind of wild. It seems to mostly be coming down this side right here, the next like 100 or so yards. And I think that's from the fires that were here last year actually, because they had this closed off and I couldn't come out. They were trying to protect this trail because of what's at the end of it. This entire side of the mountain just got scorched and you can see it all the way up. There's some other people on the trail today, so as I'm hiking along, if I see that they're coming, I'm just gonna move out of the way. Especially if they're on like a bike or something. This does have accessibility to bikes here, so just gonna be aware. But there are lots of areas where you can just kind of whoop off to the side, no big deal. But yeah, as I'm looking at this is really sad. I'm not exactly sure what caused this particular fire last year, but I just know when I was here, you could see it smoldering down by Hayden Meadows. Oh, the views keep on going, and it's been pretty peaceful. And the reflection on this lake is just incredible. You can definitely see why they say this one's family friendly. One of the families that was walking past a while ago even had their kids in those little papoose pouches. Pretty cool. It's a really nice trail, and even though it kind of has some ups and downs, it hasn't been something that's been crazy. It's very family friendly. At about a mile in, even if you just wanted to come to a mile in to be able to see the gorgeous waters, totally worth it. That would make it a 2 mile altogether. But wow, you can see the fish jumping too. That is crazy. But yeah, wide open expanses like this allow you a spot to like stop, check out the water, just enjoy it. Definitely a good one for a morning hike. Wow, this section was really burned badly. So sad. Oh, this is wild looking. Look at all of these holes. Ew. Creepy. In this burned section of forest, these were not small trees. This is a huge tree. Probably 2 feet across and 100 feet long. Wow. Devastation. As much as I do prefer to share just the pretty stuff, that stuff's important too. And for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, of course, because it shows us what happens in beautiful places as well as not so beautiful places. Fires are just really, really bad no matter what. Again, this didn't happen like this year. This was from previous, so it just sits and decays, becomes part of the forest bed, and then new life starts to grow from that. But wow. You see these two, how they bulk out kind of in this weird pattern. It could be from disease. It could be from other things, but the show must go on. Let's keep moving. And then in a few minutes, I'm going to stop and take a water break. Oh, I think this is a good place to take a drink. So far, this has been really fascinating. And again, I move kind of slow whenever I'm hiking, just because I do look at all these little things, but I've been moving really slow through this section because it's just really sad. It's hard to imagine like the life that's here being like taken, and yet there are little critters all around that still persist. The story of life in these places is pretty incredible, and we're out here just recreating and enjoying them, but again, this is their home. Found one of the interchanges for the Collegiate Trail and the Colorado Trail. And if we were to go up, we would be on the Collegiate Trail. We keep going this direction next to this massive tree right here. Kind of looks like during wet season, this could be covered in water. I can see this part's going to be the least favorite part coming back up because this one has the biggest decline, which means it's going to be the largest incline. It's time for a boulder zone. This is going to be fun to navigate. Oh wow. So we get to this big open section right here. Oh, glorious. You can get to the water from here as well, so that's pretty neat. But as the path widens, it becomes a little bit more flat as we make our final push toward the big special thing at the end. Wow, I just came through this section and it opened up to this Aspen forest area that's just glorious. I've been seeing aspens the whole time, but this one's just so bright. And even better, I just ran into one of you guys, so that was awesome. So that was super, super cool. I was asking, how far am I? Not that far. That's good. Now, depending on when you're out here, you may see it with different colors, and that could be really beautiful because the leaves change. I've been seeing some of them already, so that's pretty cool, but down I go. Check that out. That's the perfect place to put in, too. That's so cool. My eyes on the prize, down we go. It does get a little bit more narrow through here, too, so we're quickly going through this section because I don't like things touching my ankles. It freaks me out. The lake, there's a little flow though that comes from in here. It's kind of going under all of these trees, so you can't see it, but it's right here. But we're going deeper into the aspens. And in this section, you can see it's mostly just aspens, which is what makes it so incredible. That is epic. And I do think we get to cross the water right up here. The one thing I will say that is pretty disheartening is how many people have carved into the trees. Guys, it's sad enough that the forest had an actual forest fire and the people have left their doggy bags, but no. Well, that was really cool, but back on the trail we go and toward the end point, which is our big special thing. These aspens, again, just look how neat. Okay, it looks like the historic site is going to be in this direction. Now you might be thinking, why is there a historic site in the middle of a trail this deep back? At one point in time, there was actually a road out to this area. I don't know where the road actually was. I'm not sure if the trail is kind of aligned with where the road was, but historically, this was a place where people would come. There's a huge, lodge out here, and it's a resort. So it's pretty fascinating. Oh, wow. I see it right ahead of us now. And there are some signs. This is going to be so exciting. Now standing on the porch of the old resort, and the interesting story about the resort and the other buildings that were the outbuildings was that whenever they built the reservoir, the Twin Lakes reservoir area, what happened was it was going to flood out this area. So they had to preserve these. They wanted to do so people could learn from them as an interpretive site. So this particular building is pretty fascinating. It has painstakingly been taken care of and maintained so that we can come here and see this. Now, most of the relics from the old hotel and resort area are all under the lake now. And so as we look out on those beautiful views that we saw the entire time we were coming here, we are looking out at what could have been part of the resort. And now deep under the water, the depths of the water, there are now pieces. Now they have discovered a lot of different pieces before that time that helped them to contextually put together this site for us. Of course, moving in this direction, you can see that other building over here. So I will walk over there in a moment, but wow. Check this out. Oh, wow. I was not expecting this. This is insane. It says that hundreds of hours have gone into restoring and bringing this to life, including those from the volunteers at the Mountain College in Leadville. This is incredible. Oh my goodness. And it just keeps going. We can go into another room here where they have another bench for you to sit in. A little bathroom. Oh my goodness. This is, oh wow, the original tub. It's a very narrow staircase. So we're going to go upstairs. And again, the woodwork just continues as you go. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful place. Oh wow. Each room has something amazing to offer. Look at the hooks for coats, the views out the windows, more hooks, a closet, a very small closet, but it's a closet. Another window with, oh, this has got to be the money shot right here. This is gorgeous. But then there's this room. Oh, wow. It has another staircase. We'll do that one in a second, but wow. Check this out. We'll start over here. There's a larger closet, another window. And as we move around, I take what I said back earlier. This is the money shot right here. Okay, up this very narrow ladder-like structure. Oh, wow, this is going to be super cool up here. Oh my gosh, guys. This is incredible. The views from these windows are 360, so you can see everything. It's amazing. Just one of the most incredible things. You know, as you're hiking along, sometimes you can think, oh, is this going to be worth it? Yes. To respond to that, yes, it is. You have to go back down this, though, and this is very much just a ladder, basically, with a glorified handle. So here we go. I'll meet you downstairs. Believe it or not, that wasn't so bad, but we did it. Yay. The best part about it is people have left notes. They have left their names. There's people here from all over the world. There is a little bit more context here. This is the Dexter cabin. Dexter's built this as a summer home in 1895 for the exclusive use of his family. And its distinctive architecture, mirrors, and captain's house decor were something that they kind of took away from being in the New England area. Now, Dexter himself transported bird's eye maple and other expensive woods from the East Coast, and that's how they created the interior paneling. See right here, this is Mr. Dexter and also his friends on the front porch of the cabin way back in the 1800s. More interesting facts, Dexter had 4 children from his first marriage, and upon his death, his second wife and 2 twin daughters from his first marriage, Ada and Harriet, inherited this property. Now, after his passing, his descendants had it for a while, and then somebody who was kind of associated with them at the law firm bought the property. And when they did, they continued to maintain it and use it as a personal property. But the other properties they didn't really use, so they fell into ill repair and eventually kind of started to crumble. And so that's kind of the story of the house itself. In the back, I could see these a while ago, and they just looked like they were, you know, a ruin kind of falling down. However, this is where we get into the resort section. So as we're walking, this would have been like a barn, it looks like. Very wide, big door, and windows, a hayloft. So that would have been one of the outbuildings. Incredible, just incredible. And again, they're working on improving the structure for everyone who comes out. So the more that you come to these areas and you donate to these regions, this is what it goes into fixing up. We made it out here to this. We are just inundated with cool information. In fact, it says here that in spite of patronage by the wealthy, the resort was always running on marginal investments for Mr. Dexter, and good management was always hard to come by. So Mary McDonald was the winter caretaker in 1896, and she wrote, "We are getting along all right, and I have had the trash hauled away to the backyard." It is pretty interesting to see, though, because as you read through through each of the signs. It gives you a little bit more context. By 1897, more problems arose for the Twin Lakes Reservoir Company, and they dammed the lower lake for agricultural uses. And in doing so, it rose the lake levels, and that created some problems for the resort itself. In 1899, Mr. Dexter passed away, and at that point, it kind of became a thing where they never rose to that same credibility of what they once were. He was the power behind it. Despite having good management, it was hard to come by people who would be consistent. And with that, and then also the lake, that was the ongoing struggle. It turned into something that became not as glamorous and high-end. And over time, things started to fade and the twinkle and sparkle went away from the Interlaken. It's a beautiful resort to come out to and learn from. There's a few other signs I'm going to share with you as well, but as we're kind of walking around, let me show you some of the historic photos first. Here you have one of the heydays of the Interlaken. You can see lots of people here enjoying themselves in their fancy dress. You can also see, however, that the bridge to get here was washed out whenever they dammed the water, and that is one of the many problems that it caused for the resort. The resort itself has several buildings here, as you can see, and this one has a fascinating story we'll get to in just a moment. Again, a few signs kind of placed throughout. The property is sprawling, and this is only a short walk from the Dexter house. This one is also pretty interesting. It mentions that in this area where we're now looking at all of these like shrubby bushes, it used to have bluegrass lawns that were brought in over time, and then the towering pines and spruce would give shade to beautiful water fountains and gardens of native cultivated flowers blooming throughout the summer, and it would make this a picturesque location. Now, it looks a bit different now, but at one point in time, this was considered to be luxury in the midst of the rustic location. Fascinating to see how the back side is more cabin-like, the front side is more high-end looking with the siding. But you can definitely see the wear on this building. It's not structurally sound for us to go inside right now. They have moved it to concrete to help it from sinking. However, it still has a lot of wear and tear. Now, if you look into the windows of the buildings that do have windows that remain, you can see they are working on them, but it's a slow process. I only hope that over time, some of these other buildings will be available to us. However, that takes a lot of time, effort, energy, and money. So again, the more we come to these places, the more that we support them, the more that possibly more of these places can be renovated like the Dexter house. This is called the land between the lakes, and the weathered wood of these long deserted buildings bespeaks of a lively past according to this. They were around the Victorian era of the late 1800s, and they were a part of this popular mountain resort that we are looking at. You can hear, if you listen quietly, the music and laughter still today. Now, a lot of people came here, and John A. Staley saw the potential of the Sapphire Twin Lakes as a recreational spot. However, it wasn't until the millionaire Mr. Dexter came along that this actually had a big go of it. There was already a hotel here, and Dexter saw the potential in it, so he bought it for $3,250. A high price point at that point, but a low price point in today's standards. And in doing so, he created the Interlaken, which became a series of additional outbuildings, and it brought in all of the well-to-do. He had a reputation, and his friends wanted to come and see him, and then other people who were in that same society. And over time, that's how this place really got put onto the map. So it's pretty fascinating to see that that's where it all began, and then where it ended kind of over at the other side over there. But there's a kind of cool building in the back. You might see it back there. It is a 6-sided privy, or basically a toilet, where there are 6 toilets kind of in a hexagonal shape. You can't go in there, but each one of them was basically like their own porta potty or their own outhouse. But they were all combined into one, which is kind of fascinating. I mention also here that this was never a contender to be bigger or better than the Broadmoor Hotel in Colorado Springs, which was known for the society that it would bring in. But instead, that Dexter wanted it to be more like a rustic retreat. made it, guys. It was glorious. It was so fun. I really enjoyed it. And now we're just making our way back to the trailhead. We're almost there. Right over here. Again, I took my time because it was almost 5 miles. I did 3 hours because I filmed a lot. I enjoyed the historic site, but overall, 1,330 calories later, we're finished. I was encouraging you guys to get out and move your body. And if you can't do something this big, that's okay. But do something. Get out and explore. Enjoy yourself. See something new. Definitely worth it. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. If you are in the Twin Lakes / Leadville area, please come out and do the Interlaken Trail. It's gorgeous. It is amazing. And it is really, really fun. Remember, guys, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. I will see you on the next one. Bye.